It was our past president, Ronald Reagan, that said, trust, but verify, right? Well, that's exactly what we got to do with these program cattle. Whether they're natural or GAP, many of you are familiar with the GAP program, NHTC, they're third-party verified. We believe IMI Global is best in the world at that. We met when we got hooked up with Tyson about 6 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago, supplying them with natural and NHTC cattle. We got introduced to IMI Global. We met Travis Edeal. He tells me now that he was just coming on board, so we were learning together. But Travis has met many of you ranchers, and let's welcome Travis. He's going to talk to you about getting calves qualified.
Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Wulf Cattle, for inviting us for the growing and continued partnership that we've had over the last 5 years. Honestly, it's a lot of fun to come up here and see a lot of familiar faces. I was talking to Jerry about 5 years ago when I first came on with IMI, and one of the very first trips that I was charged with was driving to Morris, Minnesota to meet with Wulf Cattle, who, as a young guy from central Nebraska, I really wasn't aware of at that time. And quite honestly, as I got up there, it really became less about Wulf Cattle as we sat down in front of that whiteboard in the back office in Minnesota, but really more about you guys. And their real concern was, how are we going to help our ranch customers be a part of these programs and really do them successfully? So over the last 5 years, we've really felt that our goal and our responsibility, not only to the programs and what we do in ensuring those and the quality of those programs is important, but honestly, the relationships that we have with you guys and how we help to continue to grow, how you do better at keeping records, how you are able to move within the programs to meet the needs and the demands of verification and of what they need in the marketing arena, really is a charge for us. And inside of your packets that you got is a little trifold folder. If you want to pull that out, I know that over the initial time of working with IMI, everyone kind of got familiar with just seeing my face. As we've continued to grow, the programs grow, the number of people that we have involved, the number of people within your team and within your producers has continued to grow. There are other faces as well that have come on board. We at IMI have continued to grow our verification services beyond the things that you guys have probably initially heard about, all the way back from when it started with Source and Age and evolved into the NHTC as kind of the main marketing program that goes on right now in the United States. It's going to continue to grow. And so we have new faces. You're going to run into new faces that are going to be coming on site to see you. We want you to know that even though those faces change, that we're still committed to being here and to helping you succeed. Regardless of who shows up, regardless of what goes on, the programs are going to continue to be the same, and we as IMI are going to continue to be that support for you along the way. I wanted to touch real quickly kind of on the core services that we're offering at IMI that are really pertinent to what Wulf Cattle is doing today, pertinent to a lot of the things that Tyson does. We value Tyson as well. One of our, probably is our largest customer as well, is in verification services. The NHTC, Never Ever 3 or natural cattle programs, and GAP are really the cornerstone of what verification is happening right now within not only what Wulf is doing, but really the cornerstone of verification in the domestic and international markets. Many of you got familiar up front with NHTC, which is the export verification program to the European Union. That program has been in existence clear back from 1989. Actually changed how it looked in the middle 2000s, around 2006, and has continued to change and evolve. You've probably heard us talk over time on site about quotas and high quality beef and things like that that affect what happens in the NHTC market. Those things are continuing to move and change even today with NHTC. But at its core, the requirements for no hormones within the beef is really what drives that program for the EU. What does that mean for you guys as ranchers? It means I have to get enrolled in the program before my calves leave the ranch. I need to go through an inspection with someone from IMI. We'll walk through a manual with you, look at calving records, go ahead and talk about hormone use on site, get things documented around that. All of that needs to happen prior to the calves leaving the ranch. The next step up from that is natural programs. Natural programs take NHTC at its base of no hormones and add the two other components that are of Never Ever 3. So whether you're doing a natural affidavit program and you're just signing the affidavit attesting to natural, or you're engaged in the USDA's Never Ever 3 program, or what you guys may hear from us in IMI as Verified Natural Beef or VNB, the requirements are the same. Okay, the Never Ever 3 is no hormones, just like is in NHTC, no antibiotics, which include ionophores like Rumensin and Bovatec, and then lastly, no animal byproducts. So as you're looking at what you're doing in your feeding operations specifically, things around lick tubs and pelleted creep, minerals even in that case, to make sure that within the ingredient list, there isn't anything that mentions animal protein products. Feather meal is another common ingredient found in those things. So keep track of your treats. You know, you're not doing hormones if you're already engaged in the NHTC program. Identify your calves really well. Make sure you're checking your feed tags, and then get enrolled with us and we'll help you just to make sure that all those things are happening. Lastly is the GAP program. I know that not everyone has been involved in the GAP program. The GAP program is a 5-step animal welfare program that Whole Foods implemented back in 2010. With the pushing and help of folks like Tyson. They wanted to do it but didn't know how in the world we're going to get that supply together. Because of you guys and your relationships with feeders like the Wulf Cattle, we're able to make that a reality, honestly, for consumers that Whole Foods Market reached out to. GAP at its very simplest is a natural program at the base with a few additional things that go on top of it around animal welfare that, quite honestly, all of you all are doing in most cases today, have been doing for years, but really have taken the venue of having that story be told really through third-party verification. That process of getting approved through GAP can happen in conjunction with your other auditing programs, or it can happen as a standalone program in association with just signing a natural affidavit. For any of those things, these guys, actually the folks at Wulf have probably become as versed in requirements as we are. And Robin, as you know, is daily calling me saying, oh, hey, what are we doing about this? Or where are we going with this stuff? Or what do we need to do in verification here? And so if you have any questions around how to get enrolled in the verification, what does it mean for timing with marketing of my calves? What does it mean for what do I need to get done with IMI in advance of getting calves in this fall? Don't hesitate to talk to any of them. You have an open line to call me at any time. I'll be available to give you cards and to visit with you individually as well as if you like. For those of you who've been IMI customers, we thank you. Continue to appreciate your business. Oh, one note, the GAP program, this is kind of importance for a few of you. A few years ago, about a year and a half ago, they decided that they were going to eliminate back verification. So the program became a lot like NHTC, where you had to get approved before your calves leave. For NHTC and Verified Natural, after the first year, once you're verified, you don't have to be verified or have me or someone else come on site before the calves leave. You do have to continue to enroll your program, but it gives a little more flexibility. Starting in the middle of April, first part of May, GAP decided that the back verification program wasn't going to be able to be sustainable in the short term. So they're allowing us to continue to do that at any point from before the cattle leave your ranch to before they leave the feed yard. So it allows us a little more flexibility to work together in timing of your inspection and doing those together so that we don't have to try and go through 2 inspections each year. So thank you. We thank you guys. Thank you, Jerry. And I'll be available later.